Part 44. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 442. The next moment, he waved and shouted, "Stop!" Although confused, all the ninjas of Tsunagakura village came to a sudden stop and stopped. At this time, the last Konoha fell to the ground helplessly. The ninja tool rain is easily blocked by the waves of killing intent and magic mirror ice crystals. That brat is dangerous. Don't get close to her. Use long-range ninjutsu. The sand ninja received the order and immediately executed it. Wind escape great breakthrough. Wind done gale palm. Wind escape the airflow is dancing. Suddenly, the wind roared, and half of the more than 30 sand ninjas used wind release ninjutsu. The ninjutsu performed by 15 people together was as powerful as an Arctic storm. Even if each person's ninjutsu level is only sea level, together they have nearly a level lethality. Just like the Uchiha clan's sea level fire escape, the high fireball jutsu. If someone can spit out 10 times the powerful fireball in one breath, then this ninjutsu will automatically be upgraded to B-level fire release and powerful fire extinguishing. The same principle applies to the combined ninjutsu used by these sand ninja village ninjas. The 15 wind escape ninjutsu combined together are already at the advanced level of B-level, and are faintly moving towards a level. Boom! The storm roared, and the 15 sea-level ninjutsu slowly merged together to form a super large-scale ninjutsu. At the same time, Hikaru Hinata's 44 seals were finally completed. From the moment she passed by Yamashiro Momiji and Tamashibashi Kazu, she approached the enemy, defended her with the ninja Gwami, and finally the enemy joined forces. This scene lasts only 8 seconds. Water escape water dragon ball technique. Boom! The water flow swept across, and a circling water dragon suddenly appeared behind Hinata Hikari. The sand ninjas were shocked, obviously not expecting that Hinata Hikaru could actually use this B-level ninjutsu in a waterless desert. At the same time, he also admired the Umbu ninjas in his village. You can tell at a glance that this kid is a special jounin, and he is really powerful. And, reminded them not to move forward, obviously aware of the B-level ninjutsu that the other party was about to release. By joining forces to release wind release from a distance, you can kill this powerful brat with an almost negligible cost. In an instant, the image of the Umbu of this village in their minds suddenly became taller. The Umbu looked at Hinata Hikari with a sneer. B-level water escape is very powerful, especially when used at this age, it is already very powerful. No wonder he was able to defeat dozens of ninjas from his village. However, that's it. No matter how powerful the B-level ninjutsu released by one person is, it is impossible to resist the ninjutsu released by 15 ninjas at the same time. No. Maybe a shadow-level powerhouse can. But no matter how strong this brat is, he is just a special jounin. The ninjas of Tsunagakura village seemed to be able to see Hinata being torn into pieces by the ruthless wind escape and ninjutsu. Suddenly, the Umbu ninja thought of something again. This kid named Hikari is a ninja from the Hyuga clan. Blood inheritance limit, white eyes. Pity. The Umbu ninja shook his head and watched the strong wind roaring towards the water dragon released by Hikaru Hinata. The mantis is acting like a chariot. This idiom appeared in everyone's mind. Far away, Yamashiro Momiji, Namashibashi, and Sarada had dull expressions on their faces, and their original laughing expressions were completely frozen on their faces. At first, they thought that Hinata Hikari would kill them all just like chopping melons and vegetables. However, the opponent actually had an online IQ, and under the command of the Umbu ninja, they joined forces to fight together. This method of long-range bombardment with ninjutsu is simply extremely cumbersome. But it happens to be very effective. Even Hikaru Hinata can't resist such a powerful move. Maybe she can try her move Sky Potent Shocking Fist. But the problem is, she actually released a water hose bomb. Even if you want to use Zayashui escape, You shouldn't use it at this juncture. Yamashiro Momiji, Namashi Bridge and, my heart sank to the bottom for a moment. The two people thought at the same time. It's over now. Humph. He is a brat after all. The corner of Hai's mouth curled up in a cold arc, full of ridicule. So, at this point, the mission given by Danzo-sama has been completed. Hai could not continue with his thoughts. Because in an instant, his eyes widened, and his face looked incredible under the mask. Next to them, Yamashiro Momiji, Namashibashi Kazu also had the same dumbfounded expressions. Then, they slowly raised their heads, raised their heads, raised their heads. I saw. Is the sun rising to the sky? What the hum? That's right. The moment he released the water dragon bullet, Hinata laughed strangely, jumped on the head of the water dragon bullet, and used the basic ninja skill of treading water to stick firmly to it. Her two little hands grasped the two dragon horns formed by the water dragon bullets, and she looked like she was controlling a divine dragon. What's even weirder is that this water dragon didn't hit the enemy's wind escape, but straight up to the sky. Roar! The water dragon growled. The next moment, Hikari's weird smile came from mid-air as his body was parallel to the ground. Ga! Only members of the Hyuga family can control Shenlong. Roar! In the clear roar of the water dragon. In the eyes of all the sand ninjas who were looking up at the sky while maintaining their seal postures and looking up with dull expressions on their faces. Flying! Hai screamed in disbelief. Boom! The next moment, the roaring wind escape flew into the air and bombarded the air. The airflow overflows and sweeps across. Hinata, who was unharmed, controlled the water dragon bullet and circled it above the enemy's head. This behavior is like mocking the other person. Use the ninja tool. Quick! Throw the ninja tool. All sand ninjas wake up from a dream. They just felt it was too incredible, and the figure of Hinata Hikaru soaring into the sky was still in their minds. What they saw today will probably be etched in their minds forever. Under the command of the Umbu of Sunagakure village, a group of people threw ninja tools and shot them at the Hyuga light in mid-air. However, the power of Konoha is the ultimate at 50 meters, and it poses no threat at all to Hinata, who happens to fly at this height. Feeling the rapid consumption of chakra in his body, Hinata Hikari decided not to play with them anymore. As a result, Hinata Hikaru turned the faucet and suddenly rushed towards the three people of Yamashiro Momiji, Mingzukiao, and Heihei not far away. At first, the three of them were a little dull. But then, they saw a water dragon crashing down from 50 meters above the ground. Ah! Yamashiro Momiji, Namashibashi, and screamed. Oops, if you are hit by a water dragon from such a high distance, it will turn into a mosaic on the spot. Is this a big deal? So, is Hinata Hikari here to save them or to harm them? Yamashiro Momiji, Namashibashi, and I can't understand it anymore. But never mind, that didn't stop the two of them from escaping. However, at this time, the two of them were surviving the disaster and their physical strength was exhausted. Let alone escaping, even standing up was a problem. How could they run away? Hopeless. With helpless eyes, the two of them watched the water dragon crash down on their heads. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 443. Boom. Under the gaze of onlookers, that is, Hyuga Hikaru's water dragon shot to the ground like a shooting star, stirring up a large amount of sand. Hai subconsciously raised his arms to cover himself, and the next moment, he was hit by sand all over his head and face. When he dusted off the sand and opened his eyes again. Fly, fly. Flying. Yamashiro Momiji, Namashibashi, and Kazu shouted. One of them was grabbed by a dragon claw, and they rushed into the sky again with Hinata Hikari, who was controlling the water dragon. Dragon claw. Hai blinked. He was right, it was indeed a dragon claw. In other words, Hinata Hikaru made slight modifications to the water dragon bomb. You know, the original water dragon did not have claws. This leader will help you pretend to be O, and I will help you fly. Hinata Hikaru stood on top of the faucet very proudly, and suddenly flew away into the distance. Directions: Grand Canyon. On the side of the pursuers, there is a large canyon that even ninjas cannot cross. Hinata controlled the water dragon and flew towards the Grand Canyon. As long as they reach the other side, they are safe. Due to the problem of chakra consumption becoming uncontrollable, Hinata Hikari had to form seals with both hands to maintain the state of controlling the water dragon. Finally, Hikaru Hinata's words came from the other side of the Grand Canyon. "Young man, I'll leave you here to be the queen." Everyone in Cheyenne village woke up from a dream. They quickly looked at Hai. And Hai immediately cursed. Nima. Then, Hai ran away. Feelings, Hinata Hikaru sold him. Don't run. Stop. So, a new round of chasing began again. But this time it's not Yamashiro Momiji and the others. Rather, the root of the ninja, Hai. Boom. The water dragon bullet fell to the ground and turned into a useless stream of water. Yamashiro Momiji, Namashibashi Kazuya landed safely, at most they rolled a few times. Even so, they were grateful to Hinata Hikaru. They thought they were going to die, but their moods were ups and downs, and the little ones couldn't stand it. The ecstasy of surviving the disaster was entangled with the emotional whirlpool of shock from the water dragon flying into the sky, leaving them unable to recover for a long time. Water Release Water Dragon Bullet Jutsu, a B-level ninjutsu. Many people, including Konoha ninjas, use it. Everyone on Earth knows that after the water dragon bomb is released, the direction can be controlled by the caster. But taking off with the help of the water dragon bomb, Hinata Hikaru is probably the best in the ninja world. This imagination is beyond the realms of possibility. Mental patients have broad ideas, so they really don't talk casually. Staggeringly getting up from the ground, the two of them looked at Hinata Hikari with reverence. At this moment, there was infinite brilliance behind Hinata Hikari. Yamashiro Momiji, Namashibashi, and the two were moved to tears. How about it? Is this leader great? Unlike the two people who landed with dog paddles, Hinata landed steadily. At this moment, she had her hands behind her back, her white clothes fluttering, and she was pretending to be majestic. She was as nervous as she wanted to be. However, there are countless words of praise to be said for Yamashiro Momiji, Namashibashi, and Kazuya. But when the words came to his lips, they turned into choked sobs. Because the top management of Cricket Konoha is actually worse than a little mentally ill person. Finally, they squeezed out a few words from their mouths. Awesome. Awesome. Hinata frowned. Since this leader is so powerful, why don't you two scumbags shout 666? 666. 666. 666. 6666. The sun is scorching in the sky and the yellow sand is all over the sky. A border of the Kingdom of Wind. The 12-man team, with logistical support consisting of 3 4-man squads, is rushing to the front lines. Judging from their forehead protectors and clothing, they are all ninjas from the sand-hidden village in the Land of Wind. When they passed by a rock, a white figure jumped out of it. Robbery. The Jounin of Sunagakure village who was in charge of leading the team waved, and the 11 subordinates behind him who were carrying giant seal scrolls stopped. I planted this tree and opened this road. If you want to pass by, leave money to buy the road. The short figure that jumped out was none other than Hinata Hikari. Then, the mighty Yamashiro Momiji, Tamashibashi Kazuya appeared with fierce faces. The two of them stood behind Hinata Hikari. Yamashiro Momiji holds a tachi in his hand, and Ashibashi Kazuno is his beloved black blade. The two of them matched Hinata Hikaru's lines, gritted their teeth, twisted their faces, and pretended to be ferocious. What kind of psychosis is this? The sand ninjas began to whisper among themselves. After a while, Orisa Ninja said, "There are no trees here." "You honest man," Hinata looked at him with contempt. "Metaphor, do you understand the metaphor? What are the guys from Konoha doing here?" The Jounin of Tsunagakura village looked at Hinata Hikari, and then, Mamiki Mamiji, Namashibashi and... What the hell kind of combination is this? Leave the scroll behind, and you can leave. Hinata pointed at everyone's back with his finger. This time, she was bound to win. If you want others to find no excuses, you have to seize the enemy's supply scrolls to prove that they have indeed destroyed part of the enemy's supply function. The Jounin didn't speak, but made a gesture directly. Then, the 11 subordinates threw down the giant scrolls they were carrying, took out ninja tools such as kunao or tachi, and entered combat mode. You guys in Konoha are really interesting. Letting children go to the battlefield. Does this mean that Konoha is no longer as strong as it used to be? The Jounin of Sand-Hidden Village's mouth curved, outlining a cruel arc. The mocking eyes swept over Yamashiro Mamiji, Namashibashi, and the two adult ninjas. Only when the number of manpower reaches the point where we have no use, can it be the turn of children to appear here. Hinata scratched her head. She thought about it, and she did not see any child ninjas from Tsunagakura village during several missions. Don't you Tsunagakura village send children to the battlefield? Hinata Hikaru asked instead of rushing to take action. Of course Tsunagakura village will send children to the battlefield, but there is a prerequisite, said the Jounin of Tsunagakura village. Premise. That's right, maybe one day, when we sand ninjas are forced to a desperate situation, we will also let children appear on the battlefield, but not now. The Jounin of Sand-Hidden Village shook his head. A little girl from the Hyuga clan. As soon as the words came out, the whole audience was shocked. Because Hinata was wearing goggles, the other Suna ninja didn't notice the white eyes under the goggles. But obviously, the Jounin's observation habits, eyesight, and other qualities were much higher than them. Therefore, he easily discovered Hinata's white eyes. Oh! Hinata Hikaru looked at the Suna ninja. He was different from the Suna ninja he had seen before. Those light blue eyes, lively, energetic, determined, proud. There is no trace of greed in it. You seem different from others. Hinata Hikaru was referring to how other people would gouge out her eyes when they meet her. Humph, that kind of eye-rolling thing. Suna Ninja Murakami shook his head. It will tarnish the blood of the people of my country of Gale. In my opinion, the blood of the people of my country of Gale is the most noble. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 444. Oh, a purist. The wind kept blowing, floating the white turban on his head. In order to prevent long-term exposure to the scorching sun, many ninjas in Tsunagakura village wear turbans that cover their ears and part of their cheeks. From it, a trace of light yellow hair emerged. In this world, people's hair colors are all kinds of colors. In Hinata's opinion, they have more colors than Shamat. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. She had seen every color. In the land of wind, some people have yellow hair, and so does Konoha. Namikaze Minato, Tsunade, and the Yamanaka clan all have different yellow hair colors. Maybe, they were a family 500 years ago, Hinata thought. The name of my leader is Hikaru Hinata, your name. Hinata Hikaru said loudly. She felt that she was facing an opponent who deserved her respect. For the sake of him not coveting his own eyes. Heim. The man from Sand-Hidden Village proudly announced his name. This is also the first sand ninja that Hinata Hikaru has seen, who is full of pride in his existence and identity. He was different from other Suna ninjas. Hinata Hikaru judged it immediately. "See the real chapter under your hand," said the Jonin of Sunagakure village. The next moment, the two of them moved. The other sand ninja wanted to take action, but were stopped by a guy who seemed to be an adjutant. It means that Mr. Heim can do it himself, which means that, the brat in Konoha is not something we can deal with. Just watch with peace of mind. The sand ninja looked at the scene with a smile. He once fought alongside Heim and saw how powerful Heim was. Of course, this kid is also very strong, but judging from her age, she is at best a Chuyunin. Even if she is a special Jounin, she will not be Heim's opponent. Because, this is the strength of Jonin. Brush. Heim threw several kunao. As a standard ninja, testing with ninja tools is a basic strategy. The whistling kunao tore through the air and came through the sky. "Be careful. It's poisonous," Yamashiro Momiji, Namashibashi Kazu immediately warned. If a ninja from another country throws a kunao, you can ignore it. But if your opponent is a Suna ninja, you must be careful of the poisons on the ninja tools. Crash. Hinata struck out with a palm, a blue chakra cyclone bloomed, and a vortex immediately appeared 2 meters in front of him. Snapped. Several kunao were directly dispersed and fell limply onto the hot sand. She discovered the weirdness of those ninja tools without any need for Yamashiro Momiji, Namashibashi, and reminders. It's not poison, but, some kind of chakra flow that I've never seen before. After the ninja tool was photographed, the Jonin of Sunagakure village raised his eyebrows slightly. Obviously, he was slightly surprised by the moves Hinata used. This was the first time he had seen such a cautious enemy. Generally speaking, the enemy will choose to block with kunao. It's fine. Soon, the Sunagakure Murakunin rushed in front of Hinata Hikari. The fight between the two is about to break out. Zi. Hinata heard a slight trembling sound, like an electric current. This sound is produced when the opponent swings his right fist. What is it? The blue veins around the eye sockets are bulging in the sunlight, which changes the vision to the mode of seeing through the meridians. There was strange chakra released from the acupuncture points in this guy's hands. These chakras are flowing and spreading. Hinata Hikaru, who sensed something was wrong, did not choose to confront the opponent head-on, but directly chose to strike from a long distance. Bagua empty palm. Boom. A transparent palm print flew out from the palm of his hand and met the opponent's right fist. Snapped. The compressed chakra block was shattered by the opponent's punch. Is it the invocation of chakra? Yamashiro Momiji, Namashibashi, and Kazuya, who were watching the battle, murmured. To their naked eyes, this Sunagakure Murakunin named Heim had blue chakra surging in his fists, which was supposed to be an ordinary chakra calling technique. But there's something indescribably weird about it. This alone can't defeat me. With a confident smile on his lips, Heim cracked Hinata Hikari's Bagua Kong palm easily. Then try this. Murderous intent wave collapsing palm. Hinata became a little more serious. With the palm shot, a red vortex began to appear. In fact, this is the visual effect of air distortion caused by too much force. Seeing this move, Heim's smile remained unabated. Is there a special blood inheritance limit? I didn't expect that the Hyuga clan would have strange blood stains other than the Byakugan. As an experienced ninja, he immediately judged Hinata's abilities. Cautious, calm, and proud. Not the slightest panic. In terms of enemies, he was the strongest person Hinata Hikaru had ever fought. This guy is awesome. Facing the overwhelming force of murderous palms pressing towards him, Heim still punched out. Boom. This time, Hinata's Byakugan observed his exertion more clearly. I saw. With Haim's palm as the center, a wave of chakras suddenly rippled out, instantly shaking the palm with murderous intent. The two forces collided and exploded. In the blink of an eye, the murderous intention was extinguished by the collapse of the palm, turned into an overflowing airflow, and disappeared into the air. This is the first time Hinata's moves have been cracked so easily. And Yamashiro Momiji, Namashibashi Kazu opened their eyes wide and looked at the scene in disbelief. After getting along for a period of time, it became clear to them that no one could match Hikari in a physical battle. At least, Hinata Hikaru is invincible at her level. Even a special jounin would not destroy her taijutsu in such an understatement. So, this guy from Tsunagakura village is really a jounin. The atmosphere gradually became solid and cold. On the other side of Tsunagakura village, every ninja looked excited. The jounin of Tsunagakura village had cracked the Hyuga clan's taijutsu head-on. What a powerful thing! They were so immersed in excitement that they completely forgot that Hinata was just a child. Alas! Hinata looked at the scene and couldn't help but shake his head in his heart. Sure enough, a jounin cannot be defeated by sea-level taijutsu, even the peak sea-level moves. It's my turn next. The jounin of Sand Hidden Village said and stretched out his hand. Gen gen gen. The sound of the ninja tool trembling sounded, and then, the konao that had fallen to the ground suddenly rose into the air. Haim waved his hand again, and under his control, those konao shot towards the Hyuga light. This time, both speed and strength were several times faster. Similarly, the strange chakra fluctuations were centered on those ninja tools and spread in all directions, like ripples on the water's surface. Several konao turned into black shadows, causing everyone to scream. Just relying on this kind of projection, which is faster than the blessing of Fengdun, is enough to kill most of the special jounin. But luckily, Hinata Hikari has Byakugan. The insight brought by the Byakugan is superior to that of the Sharingan, allowing her to easily see through the movement trajectories of these konao. The rest is a matter of whether the body's response can keep up. Can Hinata keep up? Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 445. Of course. She is a ninja whose soft fists and hand seals are as fast as the sky. Call out. The moment Hinata was about to stop these ninja tools, the konao that was originally flying in one direction suddenly changed direction. Except for one konao that attacked from the front, the other konao actually turned around and shot to the side. Then, those konao shot to the side turned back again as if they had hit an invisible wall. After several times, he launched an attack towards Hinata from a 360-degree angle without blind spots. Is it the art of puppetry? No, because there are no puppet lines connecting those ninja tools. Is it the attack blade? Although the functions are the same, the way of exerting force is obviously different. So, there is only one truth. Killing intention wave golden binding technique. Boom. The long-lost ninjutsu was used. In an instant, red light appeared on all the konao, and all the konao that were about to stab Hinata were nailed in the air. The art of gold binding was taught by Minato Namikaze. It originally existed as a ninjutsu to restrain living creatures. Hinata uses it to restrain the ninja tools thrown by the enemy. This is a ninjutsu that can restrain even an elephant. Under the strengthening of the fluctuations of killing intent, the original D-level ninjutsu has now reached the peak of C-level. For the first time, there was a hint of ugliness in Haim's calm expression. Buzz. The konao staying in the air is not completely immobile, but is trembling. Hinata Hikaru and Tsunagakura Murakunin just stood there, motionless. Others looked at the scene inexplicably, not understanding what was going on. They were wrestling. The older Tsunagakura ninja who spoke earlier spoke. Wrestling. Then, a trace of sweat left on Haim's forehead and slid down his cheeks. The moment the sweat dripped from his chin. Snapped. The kunao in the air burst into pieces and turned into scattered fragments. Call. Haim breathed a sigh of relief. Obviously this was a situation he had not expected. As for Hinata Hikaru, she was not out of breath, and when it came to sweat, there was not a trace of it. With a relaxed look on her face, she laughed strangely. Gah! Is this the magnetic release of the ninjas of Tsunagakure village? As soon as Hinata's words came out, others suddenly realized. There are thousands of shinobi in Tsunagakure village, and it is impossible to know everyone. The surprised expressions on the faces of the sand ninja present meant that they really didn't know Haim's abilities. It's actually magnetic escape. The earliest user of magnetic release is said to be Sand Shikaku. The second generation Kazekage Samana, based on Shikaku's ability, developed a new blood inheritance limit. Magnetic escape. As long as the changes in wind attributes and earth attributes are merged together, it can become a magnetic escape. The second Kazekage, the third Kazekage, the fourth Kazekage candidate, some Umbu, and a small number of special ninjas in Tsunagakure village can all use this magnetic escape. Of course, depending on the strength of the user, the power and display method of magnetic escape are also different. The third Kazekage can control sand iron, Gaara's father Raza can control sand gold. But no matter which magnetic escape ninja he is, his invariable ability is still to control metal. You obtain control power by magnetizing the weapon. You want to touch the leader because the magnetism will act on the leader. After Hinata's analysis, Haim's mouth widened in shock. He never expected that his ability would be analyzed in just a few rounds. How did she do it? Of course, the proud Hyuga Hikari would not tell Haim that this was a small lecture hall of knowledge from the magical Namikaze Konk. Yamashiro Momiji, Namashibashi Kazuya looked confused. They originally thought that Hikaru Hinata was only able to fight and be reckless, but he lacked the ability to analyze combat and obtain intelligence. However, when I saw it today, this Hinata light tower exploded. Is there anything else she doesn't know? Snored. Tsunagakure Murakami snorted, his face regained its pride. Everyone knows about magnetic release at a young age. It seems that the crystallization of our technology in Osha Hidden Village is widely known to outsiders and has a reputation far and wide. Haim's proud speech left others dumbfounded. This is too narcissistic. But Haim changed the subject. Even if you know the specific principles of magnetic release, so what? You have to understand, I am the best in the world in ninja skills in Osha Hidden Village. Haim, who looked fanatical, shouted loudly and made a pose. It seems that he really loves his country and is deeply proud of it. Then, Haim stretched out his hand and raised his hand. Gen gen gen. The metal groaned loudly. Every sand ninja was shocked to find that their ninja tools were out of control. The next moment, all the ninja tools automatically flew out of their ninja tool bags and gathered in Haim's hands. The sound of metal clashing was crazy, and soon, a ferocious giant steel fist formed in front of Haim's arm. The magnetic escape chakras circulated, and after being strengthened by the blood succession limit, Haim waved his steel fist and blasted towards Hikaru Hinata. This is the first time Hinata Hikaru has encountered a foreign blood successor ninja. And he is the most famous magnetic emissary in Sand Hidden Village. But seeing this scene, Hinata laughed strangely. That's how it gets interesting. A suitable opponent, one that's not too weak, just enough to try out her new moves. There is no doubt that the current battle is beyond the control of Chunin. Even with your eyes closed, you can tell that Haim's attack was at least B-level in power. So, is she stronger, or is Haim better? Of course I am the leader. Hinata Hikaru's heart burned with fighting spirit. Click. Hinata stepped hard, and the sand beneath her feet suddenly dented, as if she had been hit hard by an invisible hammer. The shock wave centered on Hinata Hikari's feet and spread in all directions. Sand and dust were flying and splashing. This situation proves that Hinata Hikaru has mobilized all the chakra in her body, and she is going to be serious. The aura of murderous intent, wave fist. Hinata punched out with his left hand, without any hesitation or fear, and hit the huge steel fist head on. Hinata Hikaru's small white fist was completely out of proportion to the steel fist condensed by countless ninja tools. But just such a small fist delivered an earth-shattering blow. Boom! Chakra poured out crazily from the acupuncture points in his arms, like a dam opening. First gather the chakra all over your body, and then use the characteristics of the strange power to condense the chakra into your arms and release it in an instant. All in one go. In an instant, the chakra pouring out was condensed into more than a dozen red fists with murderous intent by Hinata, who had mastered the change of form. The magnetic steel fist that made a sizzling sound collided with Hinata Hikaru's spiritual light fist. Boom! The air exploded, and the deafening sound instantly reached everyone's ears. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 446. The shock made their eardrums hurt. Generally speaking, this kind of thing will not happen. Because the metal objects controlled by the magnetic escape ninja will smash the opponent in an instant. And Hinata Hikaru's murderous aura wave fist actually defeated Haime's offensive. The iron fist exploded layer by layer, and in the end, only an empty human arm remained. Haime maintained his punching posture with a look of astonishment on his face. I watched helplessly as iron filings fell from the sky and fell to the ground. Obviously he didn't expect that his magnetic escape would be defeated so easily. But a jounin was a jounin, and his shock lasted only a moment. Then, Haime regained his burning gaze and used magnetic escape again. This kind of blood inheritance limit that can be used without forming a seal seems like a foul in the eyes of others. At least, it makes up for one of the shortcomings of the ninja release technique. However, Haime is faster and Hinata is faster. When Haime recondensed the metal and even sucked up the placer gold contained in the sand and the scrap iron hidden under the sand, Hinata took the lead. Brush. Hinata Hikaru stretched his right hand behind him and drew his sword. The Zai sword appears. Magnetic escape. Haime suddenly clapped his palms together to form a seal. Being able to use the magnetic escape blood succession limit ninja seal shows that the power of this move cannot be underestimated. Because usually, magnetic escape ninjas just wave their hands and attack. Ka ka ka. Countless pieces of metal flew into the air and flew in front of and above the head of the Jonin of Tsunagakura village. And Hinata Hikaru discovered that the ninja tools in her ninja tool bag were also out of control, and were all attracted by a strong magnetic force. Including Yamashiro Momiji, Tomashibashi Kazuo who were watching the battle nearby, the two of them hurriedly covered their ninja bags and weapons, so as not to cause the metal tools to fall away. Seeing this scene, the sand ninjas turned from shock to excitement, and soon there was a hint of doubt. Since I can control the metal ninja tool, wouldn't it be enough to just use the weapon in the kid's ninja tool bag to attack her? Of course, it can't be done. Haime's magnetic escape turns himself into a huge magnet to attract all metals. Only after being magnetized by the magnetic escape chakra can those ninja tools be controlled. Actually snatching the ninja tool from my leader. Hinata Hikaru watched helplessly as his ninja tool flew away like a cooked duck, and couldn't help but feel very angry. Magnetic release, iron sheeger. The sky is filled with metal, and the sky is filled with ninja tools. Debris in the sky. All of this, under the control of the Jounin of Tsunagakura village, flew towards Hinata Hikaru. This amount has completely exceeded the amount that can be fixed by the golden binding technique. Even Hikaru Hinata couldn't fix it with ninjutsu. If one day, the power of the golden binding technique can reach B level, or even A level, maybe it will be possible. But it is definitely not something that the current Hyuga can control. However, what if it cannot be controlled by the golden binding technique? Hinata Hikaru has many ways to break this metal storm. Faced with the iron rain that fell suddenly like a heavy rain, Hinata Hikaru immediately stretched out his hand and patted it. Waves of killing intent magic mirror ice crystals. Boom. The red aura solidified, forming a semicircular transparent barrier in front of Hinata. The mastery of morphological changes allows the range and shape of the magic mirror ice crystals to change to a certain extent. The magic mirror ice crystal that enveloped Hinata Hikari like half an eggshell instantly faced the unexpectedly falling Taishijir. Boom. The ground exploded instantly, and the yellow sand covered the scene, making it difficult for others to see what was happening inside. There was no doubt that it was like a shower of falling meteors. Under such a downpour of blows, that kid will definitely die without a burial place. All Tsunagakura village ninjas think so. Even Yamashiro Momiji, Namashibashi Kazu couldn't help but feel worried. After all, this is magnetic escape. The other party is the owner of the same blood inheritance limit. The third Kaze cage, known as the strongest Kaze cage, is so famous that magnetic release has also been deified. Boom. The sand and dust were knocked away, and the sun's rays of light rushed out from inside against the ice crystals of the magic mirror. For a moment, everyone opened their eyes wide and looked at the scene in disbelief. Hinata Hikaru was actually unscathed. That's right, not only was Hinata not hurt at all, but she was even angry. In the past, she was the only one who turned other people's ninja tools into trophies for herself, but this guy actually snatched the ninja tools from her before defeating her. The magic mirror ice crystals quickly dissipated, and Hinata Hikaru rushed in front of Hime and slashed him with his sword. Killing intention fluctuation forward cut. The Zai sword slashed down diagonally with a red brilliance, beautiful and dazzling, but also deadly. Hateful. When Hime saw this scene, he immediately gritted his teeth. Magnetic escape. Hime stretched out his hand and waved, and the target was the Zai sword in Hinata Guang's hand. He wanted to use magnetic release's ability to absorb metal to take away the weapon in Hinata's hand. However, after releasing the magnetic escape, the Zai sword in Ri Zhangguang's hand showed no reaction at all. No matter how much he increased his chakra output, it had no effect. Damn. Seeing 11 He's sword slash down, Hime formed seals in panic. Laugh. A bloody flower burst out, but the next moment, the injured Hime turned into a piece of broken iron. It's surrogacy. And it's a little different. Is it a stand-in for the magnetic escape version? Hinata Hikari held the sword and turned around. In Byakugan's 360-degree vision, the enemy has been transferred behind her through the substitution technique, which is where Taishijir was just attacking. There's something weird about that sword. There was a trace of cold sweat on Hime's forehead. The strange sword blade was not affected by his magnetic escape at all. In other words, it was not made of ordinary iron at all. Even whether it's metal is a question. What kind of weapon is that? Hinata Hikari doesn't know either, but if she is asked to answer, she will definitely say, "This leader is so awesome that I can't explain it." Tempered by the fluctuating killing intent and fire escape, the blade that was originally just ordinary iron has now turned into a strange and powerful killing weapon. Return the leader's ninja tool. Hinata Mitsuaki let out a roar, raised his sword and charged forward. It was obvious that he just lost his ninja tool, but she shouted as if he had some deep hatred. This is because every stitch, every shot, every bullet is the result of Hinata Hikaru's own efforts. Don't rely on anyone else. Earth release rock Susen collapse. The Jounin of Tsunagakura suddenly slapped his right hand on the ground, and the rocks on both sides suddenly rumbled. In the blink of an eye, a large number of boulders rolled down from the top of the mountain. Iwasukyo-ben, a B-level ninjutsu, this move once severely injured Kakashi in the original work, and also led to the sacrifice of Uchiha Obito. This is a ninjutsu that can kill even a Jonin. There is no doubt that this is a trap. However, Hinata didn't even look at it, and suddenly struck up with his free left hand. Killing intention fluctuation collapsing palm. Boom. Before it fell on Hinata Hikari, the boulder a few meters above his head was shattered by the scarlet chakra. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 447. Humph. Seeing this scene, Haim was not discouraged, but instead showed a smile of success. Earth Dungeon Barrier Dungeon Hall. Snapped. Both hands hit the ground at the same time. And the rubble that fell to the ground actually enveloped Hinata in an instant, and in the blink of an eye, it rose from around Hinata, forming a huge semicircle on the ground, wrapping Hinata in it. This move is another B-level ninjutsu. Judging from the fact that Haim has released multiple B-level ninjutsu in succession, but his face is still calm and his heart is not beating, it seems that he has plenty of chakra. It is also the strongest opponent Hinata Hikaru has encountered so far. Tall stature and well-developed muscles are one of the representative images of having abundant physical strength. More physical strength means more body energy, and more body energy means more chakra. Unlike other weak sand ninjas, Haim is an extremely volatile existence even among the Jounin in the same village. Magnetic release is composed of wind plus earth, so it is natural that Haim can use earth release. Hinata, who was shrouded in the earth barrier, observed the meridians of his hands through his Byakugan, and found that chakra was being continuously absorbed by this earth prison. If it were an ordinary ninja, it would be absorbed quickly. But Hinata's chakra is not comparable to ordinary people. Facing this move, Hinata Hikari's angry face remained unchanged. He thrust Zai's sword into the ground, then made fists with both hands and blasted them out at the same time. The wave of killing intent, the wave of spiritual light fist. More than 20 scarlet fists with murderous intent bombarded the dungeon in front of him. Boom. The loud noise spread outwards along with the shock wave, even louder than the sound of rolling rocks, making everyone's eardrums hurt. Under everyone's dull gazes, the dungeon surrounding Hikaru suddenly exploded and turned into countless debris. In the dungeon that had never completely collapsed, Hinata Hikaru, who once again held the sword, slowly walked out, with a hint of ferocity in his eyes with exposed veins. The daylight started running, from extremely slow to extremely fast. Without any hesitation, he rushed towards Haim. Haim's eyes suddenly opened wide. Among all his ninjutsu, this one is the most binding. Countless opponents were defeated due to the loss of chakra. But this little girl from the Hyuga clan could actually break through his ninjutsu. This is incredible. Without any time to think, Haim suddenly stepped back and clapped his hands together. Magnetic escape iron armor. Ka ka ka. In an instant, the ninja tools and other metals scattered on the ground rose up from the ground and adsorbed on the surface of Haim's body, making him look like a weird iron giant. Brush. The running Hikaru threw the Zai sword in his hand at his opponent with all his strength. Helm's eyes lit up, and he immediately controlled the steel arm to touch the Zai sword. Although he cannot directly attract 11 Hijian with magnetism, he can make everything magnetic through touch. In other words, no matter what material the Zai sword is made of, as long as it is touched by him, it will only be used obediently by him. However, Hinata accelerated suddenly and even jumped ahead of the flying Zai sword. Nani? Haim didn't expect that Hinata would suddenly accelerate. Could it be that the previous physical speed was not her limit? Boom. Hinata stepped out and the ground exploded instantly. 5 meters away, Hinata jumped up directly with the help of the jumping power of this kick. There was a hint of anger on the cute little face, and he punched out with both fists. The wave of killing intent, the wave of spiritual light fist. Not good. Haim gave up his plan to capture Zai sword in an instant. Having seen the power of Hinata Hikari's fists, he would naturally not be so stupid as not to resist but to grab the Zai sword. Haim then waved two iron fists the size of water tanks. In an instant, the huge steel body faced the petite Hinata Hikaru. Boom! The steel exploded, and an unparalleled shockwave swept away in all directions in an instant. Wow! A large amount of sand was rolled up, and everyone subconsciously raised their arms to cover their eyes. After the shockwave dissipated, they discovered Haim was actually punched into the soft sand by Hinata Hikaru. He was tall, and with the help of his iron armor, he was in an extremely embarrassed state at the moment. Only the chest and up were exposed to the ground. With Haim as the center of the circle, a large crater like a meteorite impact appeared majestically in front of everyone's eyes. Blood overflowed from the corner of his mouth, and most of his steel armor was shattered. Even so, Haim, who was at a disadvantage, still refused to retreat. "It's not over yet." Haim, whose eyes were bloodshot, shouted, slamming his hands on the ground. Boom! With the help of powerful physical strength and mobilized chakra, Haim actually flew out of the pit where he was buried. Magnetic escape, magnetic killing formation. Boom! The ground shook, and countless iron filings dug out like giant sandworms in the sea of sand. And the location of these iron filings drilled out of the ground, is surprisingly at the feet of Hinata Hikaru. In an instant, iron filings wrapped around Hinata Hikaru's petite body like a whirlwind. "I am the best in the world in Osha Hidden Village ninja skills." Haim, who looked fanatical, shouted slogans and formed seals with all his strength. This move was based on the effects of wind escape and wind killing array. This is Haim's trump card. When the opponent is not paying attention, he will be strangled by the magnetic killing array at his feet. The moment he was blasted into the ground by Hinata's light, it wasn't like he did nothing. Instead, he directly sent his chakra into the sand at Hinata's feet, using chakra to crush the scrap metal and turn it into a torture instrument even more cruel than a blade. These torture tools will drill through the ground and wrap around Hinata's body. The next step is the scene of the daylight being cut into pieces by countless iron pieces under the influence of magnetism. Do you think the leader's white eyes are just for show? At this time, Hinata's cold voice came from it. Haim's little move failed to hide from her eyes. For Hyuga, who can see 360 degrees and has a limit range of 50 meters in radius and 100 meters in diameter, no chakra flow can hide from her eyes. Even underground. The wave of killing intent, soft fist technique, one hit to the body. Boom! Red light leaked from the gaps in the countless iron pieces, like the light of the morning sun emanating from the horizon. In an instant, all the iron sheets surrounding Hinata's body exploded. Soft boxing method, one strike to the body. By releasing chakra from some or all acupuncture points on the body, you can achieve the technique of defeating the restraints. Whether it's Yesong's sticky gold spider web, other restraint skills, or even the iron pieces controlled by magnetic escape, they will all be shattered by one strike. Not to mention, this is an enhanced version of killing intention wave soft fist one blow with added ingredients. Bacona. After falling to the ground, Haim's expression finally changed. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 448. Big beads of sweat dripped down his forehead and the back of his neck. The most powerful killing move actually had no effect on her. How could this little girl from the Hyuga clan be so powerful? It stands to reason that this is absolutely impossible. She looks, only over 10 years old. How could he even defeat a jonin like himself? Could it be that? Is this the confidence of Konoha Hidden Village in sending children to the battlefield? "You, who are you?" The muscles in Haim's face twitched, and the sand-proof turban he originally wore had long since disappeared, revealing his yellow hair with a broom style. Such a powerful kid, why didn't he know? "You are not qualified to know the name of my leader," Hinata Hikaru said, pretending to be profound. A big tree attracts the wind, and a gun shoots out the first bird. She wanted to take a break from promoting her name. Improve your strength first, hide your strength and bide your time. When she silently rises and becomes as strong as Heitake Sakumo, Shimura Danzo's old bark face can no longer threaten her. Then, Hikaru Hinata thrust out his sword and struck his opponent directly. Hateful. Seeing that all his moves were useless, Haim immediately formed a seal and prepared to dodge. Earth Dungeon, the art of reflecting fish in the earth. This earth release technique is only sea level, and it is naturally easy to use in the hands of a jonin. Before Hyaga's lightsaber stabbed him, Haim suddenly burrowed into the earth, just like a fish returning to the sea. Okay. Hinata pierced the air with his sword, looking very unhappy. He raised his free left hand suddenly and slapped it with a palm. Killing intention fluctuation palm pressure. According to the underground human figure seen in the white eye vision, the clawed palm suddenly slapped on the soft sand. Boom. The ground exploded, and countless grains of sand and iron filings flew into the sky at the same time. The power of the blow created a huge deep pit. Of course, this is mostly due to the soft terrain. However, after one move, not only did he not kill the person, but he also caused the opponent to flee deeper. Hinata Hikari suddenly remembered that the land here was different from the land of fire. While some regular earth bending cannot rely on sand, some earth bending has been enhanced. For example, this technique of reflecting fish in the soil. The soft sand greatly increases the speed of this technique. Hinata was stunned for a moment. Then, she turned around and looked at the 11 sand ninjas. At this sight, the other party was so frightened that they all backed away. The jounin of their village, the jounin with the limit of magnetic escape and blood inheritance, was actually defeated. This is amazing. When did Konoha have such a powerful kid? Everyone is subconsciously taking steps back. They were scared. Everyone was frightened when they saw Hinata charging toward them with a sword. Without any hesitation, the 11 sand ninjas threw down their supplies, turned around and ran away. Hinata Hikaru looked at the 11 people running away and wanted to catch up, but what did he see with his 360-degree white eyes? Long live the hidden village of Osha. The sand behind him suddenly shattered, and a figure emerged from it. Haim looked fanatical, with an iron spear condensed on his arm, and he rushed towards Hikari. This time, if the stabbing was serious, a hole would naturally be made in Hinata Hikari's body. However, facing this blow, Hinata didn't even look at it, and suddenly hit him behind him. The wave of killing intent, the wave of spiritual light fist. Boom. Red light appeared. Wow. The sneak attacker groaned, and both the iron spear and himself were knocked away by multiple red fists. Seeing the Tsunagaku jounin vomiting blood and rolling to the ground in a state of embarrassment, Hinata Hikari couldn't help but sigh inwardly. Once upon a time, jounin was the one she needed to look up to. And now, even if she is a jounin, she is still capable of fighting. This is her Tongtian cult leader, and she is destined to stand on top of the world. Hinata Hikari, holding the sword, walked towards Haim step by step. Yamashiro Momiji, Namashibashi, and the other two were already stunned. Last time, Hinata Hikaru had a hard time facing the jounin, but this time, defeated head-on, heartily. Shock, Chikuakyo's shock. No words were needed, the two of them had already obeyed Hinata's words. Even if she is a psychopath. But as long as you are strong enough, what if you are mentally ill? It is such a mental illness that has saved them from danger many times. It is this kind of mental illness that is many times better than some high-level officials in Konoha. Yamashiro Momiji, Namashibashi, and silently walked forward, some distance away from Haim. The two men held weapons in their hands and pointed at Haim, faintly forming a triangle with the approaching Hinata. At this point, Haim wiped the corners of his mouth and looked at Hinata. Although there was frustration in his eyes, there was no despair. On the contrary, there is still incomparable fanaticism inside, which is loyalty to his own country. My strength is not as good as yours, Haim said. The tone is calm. But even so, I won't admit defeat. Haim staggered up from the ground, ready to fight. Abundant physical strength brings abundant chakra, but when the body is damaged, chakra levels will also decrease. In other words, Haim doesn't have much chakra now. Even so, he had released so many B-level ninjutsu before, which was already powerful enough. What's more, it is very likely that magnetic release consumes more chakra than ordinary ninjutsu. Oh! Hinata Hikaru suddenly became interested. This is the first such special enemy. To be honest, Hinata Hikaru doesn't have much sense of belonging to the fire country or Konoha. Her hatred is not as strong as that of Yesong and others. In Hinata's eyes, there are only three kinds of people in the world. Good guys, neutral guys, bad guys. So simple and clear. Hinata's vision is very broad. It's not just limited to a narrow village. Her journey is the stars and the sea. I have defeated you, why don't you admit defeat? Yamashiro Momiji, Namashibashi, and Kazu listened quietly, neither gesticulating nor talking casually. No matter what judgment and decision Hinata makes, they will obey his words. My country is a country with few resources. Haim spoke his thoughts calmly. In order to make the country stronger, there is only plunder, continuous plunder. Even if you defeat me, you can't erase my thoughts? A very old-fashioned reason. Hinata nodded and commented. What intruders love most is beautifying themselves. Haim sneered, people can only be moral when they are well fed and clothed. Oh, Hinata responded calmly. Looking at the suffering faces of the children, I vowed to. Okay. This leader understands. Before Haim could finish his words, Hinata interrupted him with a frown. This time, it was no less uncomfortable than letting Haim eat a fly. Hinata raised his sword and pointed at Haim. You have your own ideas, and I have my own ideas. The battle between you and me is a collision of ideas. Yes. Haim took a deep breath, his eyes bright. This has nothing to do with justice, only stance. The surrounding atmosphere became solid and cold again. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 449. Haim rushed over and Hinata struck out with a palm, sending the former flying backwards. Then, Haim got up and rushed over again, receiving another palm from Hikaru Hinata. This top-notch ninja of Tsunagakura village kept getting up, and then was knocked down by Hinata Hikari. Finally, after being knocked away more than a dozen times, he collapsed completely. Your philosophy only goes so far. Hinata kept moving his palm and said calmly. Then, she waved her little hand, signaling to Yamashiro Momiji, Namashi Bridge, and to pick up the supply scrolls on the ground. Hinata didn't look at Haim again. Your philosophy only goes so far. These words penetrated deeply into Haim's heart. The two people's ideas collided, and it ended with her victory. Haim's eyes dimmed for the first time, and his proud face turned gray. Lying on the ground with his arms and legs spread out, he was extremely miserable. His faith and belief had been shattered. Hinata Hikaru knows very well that killing someone is heartbreaking. Killing the mind is far more effective than destroying the enemy's body. She knew that Haim was dead. Spiritual. Kill me. When Hinata, who was carrying a scroll of supplies, passed by him, Haim said calmly. Hinata stopped, but still looked straight ahead. The leader refuses. Then, Hinata Hikari's figure floated past. The figures of the three people just disappeared in this windy and sandy land. Konoha camp, front line. Namikaze Minato patrolled the entrance to the camp as usual. They fought off another wave of attacks from the ninjas of Tsunagakura village. Judging from the enemy's offensive, their supplies were obviously insufficient. If the enemy's supply line is cut off at this time. Suddenly, Namikaze Minato's eyes condensed and he looked steadily to the west. That is the direction of the Kingdom of Wind, and it is also the direction of a certain figure performing a mission. It's Hikari. She appeared from the distant horizon, carrying several large material seal scrolls on her back with straps. This scene of big and small bags looked very funny, which made Minato Namikaze couldn't help but smile. "Are you back?" A voice came from above his head. On the simple watchtower built with earth escape, Yesong took a telescope and saw clearly the figure who had returned victoriously. In his opinion, this is a matter of course. The sun will surely return. Even a Jounin couldn't stop her. Because Hikari is justice. As she gradually approached, the camp suddenly became lively. Those Konoha ninjas who originally thought that Hinata Hikari would die opened their eyes wide and stared at Hinata Hikaru in stunned silence. When Hinata entered the entrance of the camp, even the man who said before, the guy who said don't think just because you are cute can do whatever you want, was stunned on the spot. The fatal mission deep behind enemy lines was not only completed, but also returned with a full harvest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They counted. Hinata Hikari is carrying one on her left hand, one on her right, and one on her back. Oh, this should be her original. Of that. Put both hands on top of your head. In other words, except for her original one, Hinata Hikaru captured 4 seal scrolls. Exactly the amount of a squad. Just like that, Hinata walked towards the camp majestically, and threw all the scrolls in the center of the camp with a bang. Tsunade had told her that if she really captured the enemy's scroll, she could just throw it on the front line and use it without returning to the headquarters. As Tsunade said, Hinata Hikari threw all the enemy's supply scrolls here. Until then, everyone woke up from a dream. A little Chuyunin girl defeated at least 4 Chuyunin, that was amazing. This is their speculation. But then someone started to question it. Are there really supplies in these scrolls? Can't they be replaced by blank scrolls? Then they will make excuses and say that I have completed the mission, but I don't know that there are no supplies in them. This Konoha ninja's doubts made everyone who had initially believed gradually become suspicious. But how could Hikari do such a stupid thing? She had already confirmed it before. And used the new ninja tools inside to replenish the ninja tools that were taken away by Haim. And put in a little more. Not only were the 2 ninja tool bags bulging, but in order to prevent this kind of thing from happening again in the future, Hinata Hikaru sealed many ninja tools in his own big scroll. Even if it is sucked away by the enemy, you can still replenish it from the scroll. Where is the person in charge? According to the instructions of the mission, this leader has placed the captured enemy materials here. Immediately, someone came forward. He was the elite Jonin of the Sarutobi clan. His performance of great strength on the battlefield left a deep impression on Hinata Hikari. With several of his subordinates, he quickly stepped forward and took Hinata's mission scroll and took a look at it. It has the signatures of the 3rd Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen, and Tsunade. The 3rd signature field is empty. No doubt he would be needed to sign it later. In this way, Hinata Hikaru's entire set of tasks is completed. Several Konoha ninjas formed seals and planned to open the seal scrolls and investigate one by one. As the smoke rose one after another, a large amount of supplies appeared on the ground. This time, everyone's doubts were dispelled. Everyone gasped, causing the temperature to rise again and the climate to become warmer. This Hinata Hikaru actually did it. Even this elite Jounin of the Sarutobi clan was slightly sluggish. It is very powerful for a Chuyunin to complete such a difficult task alone, and many people can do it. But the problem is, there is a premise. That's how old they are. Hinata Hikari is only 10 years old. With an inexplicable mood, This elite jounin of the Sarutobi clan and camp commander signed the scroll and handed it back to Hinata Hikari. "Well done," he praised. Subconsciously, he felt that he should do this. Because this matter can be said in a big way. Just when he was about to say something more, there was another commotion at the entrance. Momiji Yamashiro, Kazuya and Namashibashi are back. There were many ninjas in the camp who knew these two people, and they looked equally surprised when they saw the two return. Obviously these two guys had written suicide notes, and they also said goodbye to their acquaintances, saying that they would never return and that they would die or live. In the end, I even took off my pants, but you told me that you two had no missing arms or legs, and you just finished the mission and came back with such a swagger. Yamashiro, Momiji, Namashibashi, and Kazuo shouted happily when they saw everyone. My Mountain City Red Leaves are back. I'm back with Ashibashi Kazu. Yamashiro, Momiji, Namashibashi, and the same large and small bags carried scrolls. Compared to Hinata Hikaru, whose face was not red and whose heart was not beating, the two were already out of breath. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 450. After all, each supply scroll is very heavy. Carrying 4 of them on one person is really too much. It can also be seen from here how incredible Hinata's physical ability is. But even so, the faces of the two people showed a solemn look of completing their mission. Their lives were finally protected. The two walked to the center of the camp and threw the scroll down. After checking and explaining the task situation as usual, the two people completed the task. Then the leader needs to go back and resume his life. Hinata Hikaru said that she would take the mission scroll and hand it to Tsunade, so that the entire handover process would be completed. And many more. The elite jounin of the Sarutobi clan suddenly stretched out his hand and stopped Hinata Hikari, who was about to leave. You three don't have to go, just stay here. I will send someone to inform you personally. This elite jounin of the Sarutobi clan had a premonition that the completion of Hinata Hikaru and others' mission would affect the victory of a major battle. The 3 people who returned were properly resettled under the arrangements of Sarutobi's elite jounin. Hinata obtained another small separate tent. This is a special treat. Whether it is from the perspective of a mental patient or for the sake of other normal people, it is definitely the best choice to let Hinata stay in a separate small tent. Although Yamashiro, Momiji, Namashibashi, Kazuo were confused, they didn't say anything. Just when the 3 of them received the order and planned to disband, there was another commotion at the entrance to the camp. I saw a guy covered in rags and wearing a mask running towards this place while crawling on the ground. Behind him were more than 30 soldiers pursuing him. The moment they crossed the parallel, the pursuers behind them all showed expressions of dissatisfaction and regret. Across the parallel, the 2 teams looked at each other like this. That was until the tattered guy fell down into the camp in embarrassment. Damn it! Damn it! That damn brat! The person who came hit the ground hard with his fist. It was Shimura Danzo's subordinate, Hai. After being tricked by Hinata Hikaru, he ran all the way, life and death at the same speed. It takes more energy to suck milk than the root training. Just to survive. Oh. Hinata blinked her eyes, and with her extremely strong eyesight, she spotted this guy's figure immediately. He's not dead yet. One person, getting rid of 30 pursuers, it should be said that this guy really has 2 brushes. As expected of being a root alongside Umbu, every one of them is an elite. The elite on the run. Hai's situation obviously attracted everyone's attention. Everyone, including the elite jounin of the Sarutobi clan, rushed towards him. After breathing for a long time, Konoha also recognized that this was its own Umbu. Was he on some special mission? Every ninja has such doubts, but given the special nature of Umbu, no one dares to ask, nor has the right to ask. Even the medical ninjas stood by, bewildered. Because the identity of Umbu must be kept secret. That damn brat, even if he tricked me, I would be the only one who survived in the end. I'm afraid she had already died in that fatal mission. Hai thought this and felt a lot better. However, the moment he looked up, he saw a figure that shouldn't be here. Sluggishness, the dullness of Chiguakuo. The expression behind the broken mask becomes very exciting. Quack. Boy, I didn't expect you to come back safely. Hinata stood in front of Hai with his hands behind his back, and what he said once again shocked everyone. She actually knows this Umbu. Or is this just another mental illness? You. Under the mask, the bloodshot eyes were wide open, staring at Hinata, as if they couldn't believe it. This leader is very good. Hinata nodded. Thanks to you, my leader not only successfully evacuated, but also successfully completed his mission. Don't worry. After hearing Hinata Hikari's words, the root ninja spurted out a mouthful of old blood. This is due to the injury plus the anger. He had calculated everything, but he didn't expect that Hinata Hikaru not only tricked him, but also completed a fatal mission. Seeing Hai vomiting blood, Hinata opened his eyes wide and said, "Don't be excited. When you go back, you will report it truthfully and say, thanks to you, this leader can complete the mission." At this point, Hai tilted his head and fainted from anger. Tisk tisk. Hinata smacked her mouth. A ninja at his core is not as affectionate as the legend says. Of course. Even if a dead person makes you angry like this, you will be angry again. Yamashiro Momoji complained crazily in his heart. He could understand Hai's frustration. But understanding is understanding, he can only say, this guy deserves it. What a joy. In the end, the medical ninja carried Hai down like a dead dog and treated him. He should be fine. I guess I can continue to live with hatred for Hinata Hikaru, and I can live for a long, long time. Goodbye. Hinata Hikaru waved his little hand. After a brief treatment with Palm Immortal technique, Hai woke up lying on a stretcher and opened his eyes. What he saw was Hyuga Hikaru, who was smiling silly at him. Then, he tilted his head, his tense body relaxed, and he was obviously knocked out again. The elite jounin of the Sarutobi clan looked at this scene. Needless to say, there were some unspeakable things in it. Therefore, he simply pretended not to see it. Anyway, if the sky falls, there will be tall people to carry it. Soon, the tall man came. It was actually Tsunade. Hinata Hikaru couldn't help but wonder, what is Commander-in-Chief Tsunade doing here? Namikaze Minato, who was standing aside, said nothing. With a serious face, he was keenly aware that a storm was coming. I'm afraid, something big is going to happen. After Tsunade saw Hinata Hikaru, she first nodded and smiled at her, and then followed the elite jounin into the camp, obviously to discuss matters. After a while, ninjas came out in twos and threes. Among these ninjas, some were brought by Tsunade from the headquarters, and some were on the battlefield itself. But everyone looked serious and gloomy. And there are still some ninjas staying inside the tent. Hikari, Yamashiro Maple Leaves, and Minashabashiwa. A messenger ninja called the names of the three of them. The three of them looked at each other and walked towards the tent. Once inside, stand still. Within a few minutes, the root ninja also walked in with frivolous steps. It seemed that he was really tired. At this time, he put on a new set of clothes to make him look like a person. Ningashiki Aokazu, I have submitted your resignation application to the village's senior management. During this time, you can return to the headquarters camp and wait for the news. After the four of them were together, Tsunade spoke. Namashibashi Kazu immediately showed a grateful expression. He never wanted to go into the muddy waters of the village again. From now on, he can live his civilian life peacefully, doing some small business or something. The money he accumulated was enough for him to live a simple life. Hinata JoJo's Bizarre Konoha Adventure. Author, Chaos Theory. Chapter 451. Yamashiro Red Leaves. Yes, Yamashiro Momiji immediately stood up straight when Tsunade called her name. What about you? Are you still planning to become a ninja? Tsunade-sama, I am also ready to resign. Well, then go down and write a resignation application immediately. Tsunade waved her hand, bowed to Ashibashi Kazu and Yamashiro Momiji, and then exited the tent. The two of them were disheartened and had lost their will to be ninjas. Staying on the battlefield would be a drag. If they were forced further, they might become traitorous ninjas. That's why Tsunade simply agreed to submit her resignation for them. And all of this is thanks to Danzo. How long will Konoha's darkness last? But fortunately, all three returned safely. There was a look of relief on Tsunade's face, and her beautiful eyes looked at Hinata without blinking. The tasks of saving the red leaves of Teihei-yama Castle, Namashi Bridge, and so on were completed perfectly. Hikaru Hinata, you have successfully completed your mission this time, but don't be complacent and keep trying. Do you understand? Tsunade said a few symbolic words, and Hinata also nodded, indicating that we are very good at shooting, and this leader understands these scene words. As for you. Tsunade looked at the root ninja who was walking in vain. You can go back. Tsunade said sarcastically. It means, let him go back to Konoha. The root ninja gritted his teeth and responded coldly, Tsunade-sama, I have other tasks. What's the mission? To stand behind my leader? Hinata Hikaru asked curiously. No, the root ninja immediately said frantically. He looked at Hinata Hikari hatefully. It was okay if Hinata Hikaru didn't mention this matter, but he would get angry when he mentioned it. Gah! Don't be embarrassed. The successful completion of this mission is all thanks to you. Thanks to you for stopping 30 enemies for me. You are such a good person. Hinata Hikari's words were extremely shameless in the eyes of the root ninja. He has never been so shameless. Therefore, his shoulders were shaking with anger, trembling up and down. Not to mention the expression under the mask is extremely ferocious. Hinata didn't seem to realize it, and still said to herself. Don't worry, next time I see that old man Danzo Shimura, I will definitely say a few nice words for you in front of him. I will tell you the truth about your heroic figure as the queen. Hinata Hikari finally understood with sharp and sarcastic words. This time Hinata Hikaru wants to harm him again. You. Because he was too angry and the old injury was not healed, the root ninja actually weakened under his feet and pretended to faint. Until he fell backwards, he could still hear Hinata's hateful voice. Oh, look, he was so happy that he fainted, I can't help but praise him. Finally, the root ninja closed his eyes and fell to the ground. Tsunade and others were stunned. For a moment, it was very quiet in the hood. Look, what happened? Hinata Hikaru talked people to death. Could this be the legendary mouth escape? Finally, Tsunade stepped forward to treat him. Although this guy is very hateful and is still a subordinate of Shimura Danzo, he is still a ninja of Konoha after all, and he has not really dealt with the Japanese. Unfavorable to the light. Tsunade is still aware of this matter. Green light lit up from Tsunade's hand. It's an A-level palm immortal technique. In Tsunade's hands, it seemed to have almost S-level effects. It's desert syndrome. Tsunade said with a serious face. Although what Hinata said was very irritating, it was not enough to make people faint over and over again. After Tsunade's diagnosis, she found that he suffered from a type of desert syndrome that only happens to people who are new to the desert, and only a small number of people. This situation is not uncommon. Just like altitude sickness. Union Village is built on the other side of the clouds. You can touch the clouds through the village, so many people will suffer from various altitude sickness when they go to Union Village. Desert syndrome and altitude sickness are similar. Put this matter on record and sort it out immediately, and then everyone will be given a copy of Desert Survival Precautions. Tsuna said without looking back. The secretary ninja adjusted his glasses and immediately recorded it. Ninjas are humans too and can get sick. As the number one nanny in the ninja world, Tsunade naturally has to pay attention to these things, or in other words, she is more likely to notice this than anyone else. Relevant desert precautions and survival guides will be summarized, printed on paper, and then distributed to each ninja. What does this mean? Konoha's army is going to attack the Kingdom of Wind. Hinata's eyes widened in surprise, apparently sensing something from Tsunade's order. Yes. Tsunade stood up and motioned to her subordinates to drag Hai down. This is what she came here for. Since Hinata has destroyed the enemy's supply function and the rear supply function of this front, he can take advantage of the victory and pursue it. In one fell swoop, he drove the enemy back to his hometown in the country of Wind. Even though Hinata, Hikaru and the others only captured 12 material seal scrolls, there were more than 10,000 ninja tools in them. A lot of food and other living supplies. This amount of ninja tools and food is enough to sustain hundreds of people for half a month, or even a month. If you don't start now, when will you wait? It will take 1 to 1.5 days for Sunagakure village in the country of Wind to resend people to support supplies. We will use this time to decide the outcome. In other words, a big battle is about to begin. I have to say, Tsunade is very courageous. She actually wants to attack the enemy's troops on the road as the commander-in-chief. This time, it is no longer a tumultuous battle in which hundreds of people test each other and retreat after leaving dozens or hundreds of corpses, but a big battle in which many people will die. When Tsunade opened the tent and came outside, Hinata was slightly surprised. Because, she saw rows of people standing neatly. A phalanx of ninjas totaling hundreds of people. It turned out that those elite jounin who walked out before were going to gather the team. Troops throughout the camp were assembled and prepared to launch an offensive against the enemy. Gathering time, 1 hour. In 1 hour, launch the general attack. The heroic Tsunade waved her hand and issued a pre-battle order. Hinata Hikaru also received Tsunade's assignment. He was directly assigned to the team where Namikaze Minato and Namatsu were. Team Jiraiya is finally assembled again. When Hinata Hikari was happily talking to Namikaze Minato and Nasomatsu, a voice sounded from behind. Hikaru Hinata. Hearing this voice, Hinata turned his head. It was the jounin of the branch family. Ga. You are here too. Why, are you preparing to donate the ninjutsu scroll to my leader? Puff. The branch jounin almost burst out. How could you ask someone for a ninjutsu scroll when you meet them? This Hinata Hikari's shamelessness has not slowed down. You really dare to think.